Postcards from the bottom. Whatever happened to Jessica Lee Smith? I'm so sorry about that. And I'm also sorry about all the noise that you hear every single time I get on here. And the fact that I never complete a thought. I go in a million different directions. And I know everybody's always laughing about that. You probably think I don't realize. I do. I confuse myself. That's no joke. It's very freaking frustrating. For the past 72 hours, I've been doing a contortionist act in my car. I'm basically, I got a 9.5 by the Russian judges for my dismount off the front chair into the back seat. I almost killed myself trying to find change because I lost my ATM card. Yes, for the billionth time. And by the way, the Ducks were fighting again. That's why I got back on here. I don't know why I keep wanting to show you how they're fighting. Maybe because it's in such contrast to what you would believe Ducks' lives would be like. But I guess it's kind of like when human beings are, on camera, or if politicians, they act like their families are perfect. When they're on camera, and at home, they're like, he's got like someone tied up in the basement. You know what I'm saying? You never know. And, so this is like a real thing. Now that couple's over there, but I just can't help but notice Mr. Lonely. He was there yesterday, remember? He was walking up the hill by himself. I love Mr. Lonely. If I knew, I would have put on that song because I have it in my car. I should have been in the 1950s. That was my thing. Anyway, I was going on and on about show business, and that was another topic I wanted to talk to you guys about, was show business, and tell you those stories because they're so crazy. All that stuff. So so basically, I'll do my next one about show business because I was going to do this one. And that would, obviously, it's not going to be one episode. But I experienced a lot of things at a very young age. Very briefly, I'll tell you that my grandmother was in vaudeville. And, she was not well known in vaudeville or anything, but she performed in, local or, regional, national, and she was great. My grandmother was a contortionist. She could literally, I have pictures of her and my mother. My friend said to me the other day, people use the word literally too much, and they do, and it's nauseating, and I'm doing it. So, so I'm going to try not to do it. And also the amazing. I'm always saying amazing. That's a great neck thing. I'm embarrassed to say. Not the great neck is bad, but that's like one of the things that I didn't want to pick up. By the way, there's an angel above this see that up there? It was much more clear before. It's moved a little bit, but it's kind of too wide of a thing to get on here. Anyway, long story short, when I talk about the angels, I'm not saying that those are really angels in the sky. But I know that's not the angels I'm talking about being on Mount Snow, or being here, or being around us. I'm sure everybody knows. I'm not like any different from anybody else. I think we stop believing in God and in angels when we get hurt in this life, when things don't work out, But that's the whole thing. I mean, believe me, I don't want to experience anything that I'm experiencing, and I really feel very, I don't even want to get into that, but, there is a reason. I mean, I do feel whatever happens to me in the end, I do feel like it's all brought me so much closer to God. And, I just can't, it's like I'm stuck in this other world that, where, with all this pain and this like darkness and this, of everything, that happened. My mom leaving me there on the side of the road. And my kids, that was a nightmare. I mean, I was terrified. I didn't want to act like I was afraid because she was going to leave anyway. I didn't want her to see me upset like that, so I acted like I was laughing, which is ridiculous. And if you've seen the video, it's on my blog. If you've seen the video, you could hear me acting like that at the end, and I hate listening to that because I really felt like crying. So, but, I think the whole thing is that this has all led me back to, the fact that I spent my whole life making everybody else happy, not just my family, but everyone I ever knew. at the expense of myself. I always felt in order to love someone the right way, or in order to love my brother, to be the one who loves my brother the most, I always wanted to be that person, because I always adored my brother. In a lot of ways, he would deny this, but I was more like a mother to my brother than a sister. Just in terms of talking, or if he needed something, coming to me. My mother was out with my father. I'm not saying, I'm not going to go into the whole thing about my mother. I'm just saying is that my brother and I had a very close bond. It was just one of these things where my brother struggled with certain things, hearing and stuff in the beginning, and then he's a very intense person, if any of you have ever heard him or met him. If you've met him, you know that. But he's also extremely funny, but he's very intense in a different way than me, but not like a scary guy at all. Like, everybody loves my brother. Nobody hates my brother. I'm the only one that was missing. Oh, hi, Andrea. How you doing? The thing is that nobody ever came. Nobody ever looked for me. It's been 2 years. I never mattered. I didn't, all the stuff that was, Anyway, it doesn't matter now, but, it's hard to, the idea is, if I felt like I was my brother's mother in a lot of ways, and I had to watch over him, I felt like if I wasn't around, I wouldn't be able to protect my brother. And even as an adult, I felt that way. And when he fell into drinking, etc., it was a shock, because my brother was the straightest guy on the planet. And it just goes to show you, now we all know, obviously, that anyone is vulnerable to alcohol and drug addiction or whatever it is. And, all the addictions, everyone is vulnerable. It's not a certain demographic, this, that, or the other thing. It's absolutely terrifying. It's horrifying. They've got the elderly, too. Like I've told my mother, I really believe that changed her medication. And I know she takes medication for pain and all that. I, at one time, took some of hers, and I would ask her for some, one or whatever, a day, because I was in so much pain. But I started seeing how it would make me feel after. And, I saw the difference, and my mother would, she'd be like Mary, I used to joke about it, she'd be like Mary Poppins when she took the pill. And she'd be talking, and she'd be fawning all over everybody. She would get on the phone, and she would start talking. She would, I love you, and I have all these feelings, and blah, 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 blah. And then 2 hours later, she would just crash, and she would be angry, and I can't even explain it. And the thing is that I was always very vulnerable, and my family knew that, I was hurt because of it. So it was very hard. As an adult, I sort of always had my guard up around my mother because of the hurtful things that she said. And, I'm sure she didn't just say it to me, and a lot of people say that's how Joanne is and whatever, but that's true, but I just thought that it was the whole, when it comes down to it, your brother really loves you, or when it comes down to it, your mother loves you. She's your mother. Where is she? What did I do to her? Anyway, I don't want to get into that. I'm bringing it up because my cousin is on here, Andrea. I have too many feelings about that now. It was too bad, it was too terrible to forget now. It's not something I could ever get over. Everything that happened. So, but what I was saying, and I'm sorry, I'm not talking about the other things now, so I could talk about all my BS or whatever, my boo-hooing, and a lot of people don't have mothers and stuff. I don't know why I'm such a baby about it. I think it's because I didn't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought, I don't know. But anyway, so, getting back to what I was saying, in the end, with all the pain and everything, when I came here, I was even closer to God than I had ever been, than I had gotten when I was enlightened and when I was touched by him that night in California. I wanted to end my life that night in California when I was in my 20s. I really did. And I was at the end of my rope, and that's why I went out searching for answers and asking my father. And I bought all these books about how to speak to the dead, and you speak into the microphone and you ask your questions, and then don't speak and be silent and listen back to the black noise or the white noise, and maybe you'll be able to hear your loved one. And I was doing it all night long, asking questions, and I heard nothing in the noise at all. And it had been so many years I was trying all these things. I mean, it was ridiculous, how crazy I was about it. And my mother went to a medium once, and the medium said he would not see me at that time, her middle daughter, and that her husband was very worried about, meaning on the other side, was very worried about me, my father. And he said that he couldn't see me because I was vulnerable to certain things, and I was. Meaning, if I had gone there and he had said things, maybe I would have hung too much on those things or something. It would have affected things. And this guy was a very real, he wasn't a shyster. He wasn't like a mugger like these other people. And you don't know, I'm sure if you've had experiences going to a psychic or going to someone who says they read things, I've been ripped off so many times it's not even funny. It's disgusting. And one of the women was gross because I was at a very low time in my life, and she got a lot of money out of me, and it was a long time ago when I was like 19 or something. She gave me this whole story about how someone put a hex on me, and she was going to and I'm going, oh yeah, that must be it, It must be the hex that somebody put on me. Anyway, so, no, it was the things that happened, and like I was saying, with all the pain and everything is, I don't know that I could ever recover from the other part, but I am happy that I feel close to God, and that all these painful things have really brought me very, very close to God. Very close. And I feel him on me, and I feel my Father here. And I go to the mountain every day, and I do these eternity circles in the snow or the dirt or whatever for him, because he was incredible. I mean, if he would have done it for me, he would have done it. And I want to tell him that he wasn't just any father, and I didn't just forget, I mean, I'm not like all day long thinking about him, but I'm in such a painful time in my life. I need to be near my father, and that's why I came here. So anyway, what I was saying was, in the meantime, when my father died, I gave up singing. I stopped singing because I used to sing for him, all the time. He always used to make me sing it. I was never afraid of singing in front of people. I wasn't shy. But I can't even see the freaking ducks now. But I can say that I think a lot of the reason why I wasn't so shy was because as a child, even though I was very lonely and there was like a sadness in me, I was very mechanical when I was singing. It was more about belting out to the back of the stage. In Broadway, you have to, I was in the show Annie. That was one of the first parts I got, was the Broadway musical Annie, when I was 10 years old. I had been in the business doing different things, but not like that. I wanted that show so badly. And they told me I was too tall and everything a million times. Then they told me I was too, ethnic looking to be Annie, which is true, because how could I pass as a redheaded Irish girl? Not that I wouldn't have tried. But, and I, long story short, so, let's not get into that now. So I gave up singing after he died, because when he died 2 weeks before I had come back. I gave up show business because my father was dying at the end, I mean, I shouldn't have probably left, because I would have had more time with him, but I know he wanted me to do it and all that, so. And I loved it. I mean, the thing was, my father wasn't interested in show business. He never even looked at me, my father. He barely knew I was alive until he had his first heart attack. And that was when I was 8. So he completely ignored me up until then. He was not the greatest, believe me. But when he had a heart attack, his first heart attack, and I went to see him in the hospital, everything changed. Well, I'll talk about that another day too. But my point is that 2 weeks before, before I was in a show in school after I came back, and I had to face going back to school again in junior high school in 8th grade, when all the kids already knew each other from all the different schools because they had been in junior high school. I was coming back from show business in 8th grade with these very A lot of the kids were very spoiled, let's just say that. And a lot of my friends from there are not, but a lot of them were. It was really disgusting in that way. And there was no, in a sense, because it's just such a cheapened version of life when you live like that. Because life is about other things. It's not about that. Those things are nice too. But life is about love and everything, and friendship and family. Family is everything. You know, family, you don't walk away from family. Ever. That's not something you do. So, you know, these are the things in life that matter. And living there was rough, and I had to go back to school, and it was hard, but I was very afraid that, you know, because my father, I used to wear this Annie jacket. We all had Annie jackets on the road. We all had to wear these. We got these special jackets with embroidery and everything. It would say Annie, Third National Touring Company, our names, and, you know, we had different ones, and I love you, and, hi, Helene, I love you. Ellen, see, I made a mistake. But, anyway, so, oh, look at them now. I think these are just the friends, though. I don't know, who knows? Maybe it is a couple. So anyway, and I went, you know, I was in this show in school. We were in school. They did Annie when we got back to school. Of course, it was just a school show after that. But it was funny because we all tried out, and they gave me the part of Annie. You don't know how badly I wanted that part. I didn't even care that now it was just a school play, because I was finally going to get a chance to have the freaking red hair and wear the dress and sing the song with my kick line down the steps in the show with Daddy Warbucks, like Bridget always did, and, you know, all the other kids that did it. And I loved the show so much. So, and my dad was very excited to see it. And in a way, it reminded me of me and my dad's relationship. You know, not the money and her being an orphan, but just that closeness. And my dad first noticed me after the heart attack, and he only realized that I was taking show business seriously when I got the part in Annie. Even when I was doing commercials, he didn't. I don't even think he noticed me. He had 6 kids. I was his 4th girl. You know, and he had his boy right before me, so it was like, oh, everyone could just fuck off after that. Excuse my language, by the way. I know it makes me sound less intelligent. It's just a habit. I apologize. Anyway, yeah, they're talking too. Maybe I have that effect on people. Anyway, so, and 2 weeks before the show in school, my father died. And I don't even know what when I think about the 2 weeks after my father died, because they gave you 2 weeks off of school. That was your limit, you know. And, I just remember being, I would say I was blind. That's the only way I could say it. I can't say I was sad, I was this, I was that. I was blind. I was just done. I was gone. I was totally, I don't know how I even survived that. And I think the only way I survived it was I eventually became numb. I numbed myself with food and binging and, you know, and all kinds of other things, like, you know, when you hurt yourself in certain ways, there's little things people do to themselves. And then also the other stuff. I mean, I was not doing well. And it was difficult to go back to school. But when I did, the show was going on. And like I said, I was Annie in the show. So it was a very big deal because I had to sing all the songs. Didn't matter to me that it was a school play. Didn't matter to me if there was one person standing there. Everything changed when he sang. I said when he sang. That's a Freudian slip. I wonder why. But when he died, everything changed. Singing, I couldn't sing. It was harder for me to sing around people because I would feel so much after that. Like, I felt so much when he died. I started feeling everything I was singing. It's very hard to sing without feeling so much, and I think that's what it was. I just didn't want people to see the pain. I don't know, because I was the funny girl. So, but my whole point in a roundabout, babbling way, and you won't believe that I'm going to complete the sentence. I mean, the thought, is that I want to get over that, because even though it feels like a lot, It's, I'm gonna go this way just in case anybody drives by. Because what I'm feeling will really be love and all that stuff, which is bittersweet and everything. But I have to get over it and sing again because it's like a songbird who just, the song was stolen. My smile was stolen. My song and everything. So when the show happened, the day of the show, I woke up and I had laryngitis. I couldn't sing. I got sick. So the whole show, I wasn't really singing like I could, and I felt like I failed, because I felt like I wasn't myself, and I don't know, everything was different when he left. But I sing to him all the time. I sing to him in the car, and I sing when I go visit him in New York. He's not in the right place, like I said. He didn't want to be buried next to his mother. And my mother put him there because that's where there was already a plot, which I get really upset with her about because that meant a lot to me and him, obviously. He wanted to be cremated and he wanted his ashes thrown over the big burn or in Mount Snow. And I think he should have had that, He shouldn't have been where he didn't want to be. So I was looking into all that stuff. And all this stuff is unrealistic. When I was young, I guess I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and all those things. And I can really, but now I finally am actually doing certain things. I realize my abilities now. And I realize my strength and my talents. I'm not saying I'm so great in this, that, and the other way. I'm just saying I have a certain amount of wisdom that I've gained and things I've learned from very smart people, especially Barry. And I have street smarts. I can handle myself. I'm not afraid of anybody, even though I act afraid of everything. It's a different type of afraid for my kids and that type of stuff. But I am a fighter, and I'm not worried about myself because other than my kids, God forbid a million times, or anything to do with that, I'm not worried about anything in the other ways. I could take care of myself with men and women because I just... I've had to fend for myself my whole life. So, I don't get pushed around easily. And if you think you've seen me be used or pushed around by friends, I know what I'm doing. I know when somebody is whatever, doesn't really care that much or whatever. And I have my own reasons. I always give love to people until they hurt me. Then I don't hurt them back usually. I just run away. But, no. And with family, I would say hurtful things back. But they were real. They happened. And, they were the truth. And I was never allowed to say those things. But that's over now. Look at this family here. They're very nicely getting along now. You see, they had a big fight. He ran away and everything. But they're still together. They don't abandon each other. Anyway, everybody, so singing is very important to me. I'm sorry about that. I love singing. And my father, it was something he loved when I sang. And that's when he became interested in show business, was when he heard me sing, and he was so proud. And, and we were really, really close. I know it wasn't just about show business. This is so cute. Look, they're sitting together now. Oh my God. Look at this. You see? It nicely ends. It shows there is a happy ending. Hopefully he doesn't turn around and start barking. You see, they're getting along now. Everything's fine. Anyway, the idea of overcoming all of these things and getting past it, because my life wouldn't be anything without music and singing and creating. And, going out there and getting other people's talent and showcasing it. Like I was saying before about Brooke Morningside. My friend Tim, I think it's Manter. Tim Manter, incredibly talented bass player. Unbelievable, on fire, okay? And many, many others. Alex Hutchinson, a very talented songwriter, guitar player, singer. Paul. and Alyssa of Acoustica. Incredible. I love them. I've been following them for a year, 2 years now. And they're also my great friends. Alyssa's very talented. Alyssa Kerr. She's performing right now in Chicago, the musical Chicago, in Bellow Falls. If you get a chance, get out there. It's really a great thing. So, anyway, I just wanted to say that. I know everyone here thinks I'm a freaking nut. But, I have to come out of this. I was so badly hurt. I'm so gun shy about everything. And I want to talk to people. And if you see me and you know me and you think I didn't say hello to you, it's because I awkwardly didn't know how. But I did recognize you. And if you see me in a place and you think I didn't see you at all, you're wrong about that too, because I noticed everything. But sometimes I don't want to put someone in an awkward situation if they don't want to talk to me, or if they would feel uncomfortable, or they wouldn't know what to say, or if they would feel like I'm depressed or something, which I would never be that way in that moment. I don't get depressed like that outside like that. I'm only just in moments when I'm thinking, but it's not a bad thing. I'm not depressed in that way. I guess this isn't depression, it's mourning, which is not a bad thing. Maybe it's a healthy thing. Maybe it's not bad to feel this pain because maybe I'll get through it and get to the other side. I do believe that the only way over anything is through it, as they say, so anyway, everybody, thank you so much. And, to this amazing community that there are so many talented people in. You guys know, if I've gone up to you, there are so many great singers and people who might think to themselves, and they've said to me before, I'm not an actor, or I don't act. You don't have to act. That's even better because you're more natural. You don't even have to think about it. If you've been picked or if you've been gone up to about it, and by someone or by me, it's because you have something that people can't just get. They could train all their lives. If they don't have the natural ability, they got nothing. Okay? And a lot of times when you see movies, the acting sucks and it ruins the freaking movie. All right? It ruins the movie. You might as well take that thing and set it on fire. You might as well take hundreds of thousands of dollars and set it on fire. That's how bad that shit is. Don't make movies if you're going to cast it wrong. But anyway, so it's all about the talent. And we don't need a lot of money to make these movies and these documentaries and these shows. We do not. Okay? It's very simple. All we need is a talent, and we got it. So Postcards from the Bottom, whatever happens to Jessica Lee Smith, I'll be back to talk about a great event the other day at the Wilmington Police Department. 2 brand new police officers. Welcome to the community. Postcards from the Bottom. See you next time.